a major tool for all research, really, when you're looking at especially primary research, is focus groups. It's probably one of the most popular. It's relatively inexpensive, but you get to also see the people as they're responding to the answers, which is a really benefit in the aspect of trying to understand the potential customer that you're trying to sell your service or your product to. Let's look at some of the different aspects. First of all, on the styles of research, you have a couple different ways. One is quantitative and one is qualitative. When it comes to quantitative, how many people are going to ask the questions to, and which questions? What numbers are you looking for exactly to use a comparison? You're going to compare two or more numbers, and then what kind of competence, what kind of sampling you're going to do. When you start talking about quantitative, you're looking at 400 or more. It just depends how big it is. Focus groups is a totally different thing because you're not looking at volumes of numbers, you're looking at the high quality. So the difference between the two, when you talk about quantitative, you're looking at doing mass surveys, you're looking at all kinds of research, different aspects that are much larger in scope, but you won't be able to drill down as deeply as you can in qualitative research. Quantitative, you use surveys, you use phones, you use mail, you use in-person by talking to people. You have test markets, single source data, different points that you go through on quantitative research. Qualitative research, you're going to be asking questions that's going to drill down deeper than you can possibly in qualitative. Qualitative, you send out a survey, and who knows how many people will respond. If you get 20%, life is good in that way. When you do qualitative research, you bring people together, you invite 10 people together, and you drill down with those 10 people. You sit down, you pay them a stipend, you feed them pizza, you do whatever you need to sit down and try to get them to be there for a couple hours, and then focus in as to what you're going to do. So what kind of questions you're going to ask? Why are you going to ask those questions? Your questions had better be relevant, because those answers that you're dealing with, you're going to sit down and research and beat them up, trying to find out exactly how to best sell your service or your product. You're going to make discoveries. You're going to grasp reality. I have this fabulous product, and you'll think all kinds of good things, and then all of a sudden nobody wants to buy your product, but they want to buy this one over here. Well, that's your competitors. You better grasp reality. Okay, so you deepen the insight, and you want to come away with a picture of what the people in that room thought of your product, thought of your ideas. If they threw cold water on them, if they're super viral enthusiastic, you're going to listen. You're going to look for the pattern and the cadence of their answers. Yes, I like that. I like this. And then they focus in on one topic where you thought it was this other topic. It just depends. It's primary data because you're collecting it. It'd be the first time somebody's collecting it with the questions that you're asking to solve your problem. It is exactly what is right there focused for you in your business. The advantage is you get to ask a specific question. The data is current. You just got the data. Nothing is more current than that. You know that the data is as flawed as you make it, not somebody else's flaw, and you can be quiet and make certain nobody talks, because you're going to have the secrecy involved. Your moderator, you really should have somebody that knows how to keep the conversation on track, because there will be some roadblocks, and we'll talk about those in just a little bit, that encourage participants to engage without one individual dominating me. Well, I remember back 75 years ago, I used to go to school uphill and come home uphill too. You hear those kind of stories. You want to be able to have a moderator that can silence the people that have to go off and tell their stories to be relevant. You want everybody to sit down and have an opportunity to talk. The moderator role is a big thing. The moderator should ask the quiet person in the corner, now, I haven't heard you talk all night long. Tell me about your thoughts on this exactly. Make certain everybody is engaged. Sometimes those quiet people have such deep insights, you want to capture each one of them. Have them interact with each other. You want everybody have a dialogue. You'd be surprised, you get 3 or 4 or 10 people together and they're all bouncing ideas back and forth. They can sit down and fine-tune your product far beyond anything you ever thought possible if you get them going and engaged properly, get those group dynamics engaged so they all have their after thrusters burning right in the meeting over there to get excited and on fire for your topic. Due to the dynamic environment, the moderator can kind of change the topics if you have a good one. They can sit down there and sing and dance a little bit in the aspect of, well, Okay, well, what about this? And they can change the question a little bit. They can make certain that the topic can be more suitable for their purpose and dive in more. That's why the operator needs to know exactly what you're looking for, exactly what service and product you're offering through. Make certain that the moderator doesn't come in cold turkey, so to speak. They need to know what you are looking for and be primed for that. The client personnel can actually sit behind a mirror and watch the whole thing. You're almost better off not having the actual client or the person involved in the meeting themselves, but you can maybe have them coach during a let's take a break. And the moderator steps out, gets a little bit of coaching and everything else to sit down and find out if they're on track or they're not and what to go about doing. But it'll really improve the overall conflict. Another thing is the nonverbal communication. There's a study that's misinterpreted a lot that came out of UCLA back in the 60s, of all things, and we keep on quoting it all these years later. And what it said is that when the question isn't clear, people will look on nonverbal communication for 92.7% and rely on that for the question itself rather than the words that they couldn't quite hear. Now, that means that make your questions really clear, but it also means no matter what happens, that nonverbal, well, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with it, but they're nodding their head no the entire time. Then you got a problem. That's why the moderator needs to see what's happening and then go into that person and pry what it is they're holding back. They're trying not to offend any aspect of it. So that's a really positive thing for the aspect of having a good moderator. The participants are watching, everybody knows they're being videotaped, and you really want to have a lot of security because this is a traditional aspect of it. You want to make certain you have a participant. You don't want to have a ringer in there from your competitor because you're paying for the research and not the competitor, and you want them all to keep their mouths shut by the time they're all done because you want to sit there and take advantage of what they just told you. So on the focus group power, it is the first dabbling and probably the best thing for primary data because it's research geared just to you. It's not on the internet. It's not out in the public. You're going to ask questions that pertain exactly to your topic. You're going to witness the personal responses. People respond with a follow-up. It's really good. Well, this person said, this person said, and all of a sudden you have a good dialogue happening. You're going to watch for nonverbal communications. You're going to have easy follow-up questions because they just kind of roll off the tongues as the dialogue keeps it going. It really is an excellent tool for understanding your potential clientele for your business. Focus group power. Take care.